Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. This is going to be fun. The first thing I want to say is a huge thank you to WHHS Entertainment for providing the device that we're going to review today. It is a Gemini BD10, I think it is, turntable, semi-automatic, and let's see if this is a good one. It's a vintage unit. Those are always interesting. Can we get it working? It comes with a letter. Maybe we should start there. I did a bit of research, and from what I can tell, this is like 1989, 1990, 1991, something like that. Perhaps we'll find a date code as we get further on. But let's read the letter here. Record-ology, I bought this turntable originally off eBay almost a year ago. I was going to refurbish it as my daily driver record turntable. Ended up getting a new turntable, so I no longer need this. I was told by the eBay seller that it plays 33 too slow, and that likely was due to an old stretched out drive belt. I never checked into it. If you think this unit is interesting, please do a review and post on YouTube. Otherwise, you can donate or part out as you see fit. Thank you. And thank you. What a gift. What an amazing gift. I don't even care if it doesn't work at all. It's just fun to check out something new, and I am very grateful for this gift. Even got the manual. Check that out. The serial number, the model number. Love it. Good basic info here, balancing tone arms, stuff like that. Anti-skate. Yeah, good stuff. I bet it's out of warranty now. What do you think? There it is. Not a bad looking turntable. Not a bad looking turntable indeed. It is beautiful, I would say. And it is a plastic device. It does have some heft to it though. It's not like frighteningly light. It's pretty spongy, which is probably due to some dampening feed. We'll take a look at everything. Speed indicator looks like it might light up with the correct speed, and it'll be interesting to see how that works. If it's just a dummy switch, you know what I mean, like it's set to 33 or set to 45, or will it light up when it's the correct speed, etc. It does have a pitch here, and is there a detent? There might be a slight detent position. Obviously it's a 2-speed turntable and a separate pitch controller for the 33 speed. And we've got our phono cartridge, more on that in a minute. Looking here, we've got a Platter that does look to have strobe markings on the side. Those are probably real based on the fact there's a strobe light over here. And the branding Gemini. We have reviewed Gemini in the past. Last Christmas we reviewed a modern Gemini. It was all white, had matching speakers. It was really cool. That was actually a surprisingly cool device. Here's our start and stop button. Notice that doesn't say on and off. So that's gonna start and stop the Platter. Speaking of the Platter, we got our rubber, nice thick rubber slip mat. I'm gonna take that off. It does have a lightweight plastic Platter and a C-clip, E-clip, etc. And this is really interesting. Check this out. I've never seen a motor pulley made out of plastic. It's probably nylon. Isn't that bizarre? Okay, so let's go ahead, pull that out. Oh yeah, that belt is loose, just fell right off. That being said, it may work. We'll have to play around with that. The motor shaft could likely benefit from a drop of oil, so that's easy enough to do. And yeah, so that's the Platter. We'll look at a little more detail here in a minute, but I wanted to show you that. I have never seen a motor pulley made out of anything other than brass. Here's another look at that Platter mat. It's a real thick one, really thick and heavy. And you can see the recessed area for 7-inch records. I like it. And that in and of itself will add some mass inertia to make up for the fact this Platter is going to be lightweight. So don't write it off just yet. That's not necessarily a deal breaker. This is going to be an entry-level turntable. I realize that, but it could be a good entry-level turntable. It could hold speed just fine. We'll have to see about that. 45 adapter actually sits on a peg back there. I like that. And I like the fact that this 45 adapter actually has a design element to it. Yeah, it's plastic, but you know, it doesn't look too bad. Of course, you can always upgrade your 45 adapter.
Have you ordered your official Record-ology 45 adapter yet? Check out the link in the video description below.
Okay, it is a little dusty. We'll take care of that, no problem. I do want to point this out though. There are little rubber pieces on either side of the dust cover. So you can use those as grips to lift the dust cover without, smearing the dust cover itself. And it provides a little bit of protection for the plinth when it's in a closed position. Okay, looking on the back, we see the hinges for the dust cover. Like most, I'm sure these can be lifted out if you wanted to remove the dust cover completely. Back here, this is interesting, this little cutout area that's not being used. Not sure. This could have been a shared mold for another product or another version of the product. I do see a couple of what looks like anchor point screws back there. They don't seem to coincide with anything noticeable up top, so I'm not 100% sure what that is. Here we've got the RCA outputs and this terminal here for the grounding wire. As with almost all vintage units, this is going to require an external preamp. That's why there's the grounding terminal there. And a hastily applied sticker on the back saying the make, model number, power consumption, all that good stuff. While I've got it up on its end, we can look at the bottom. Not a lot to see. I do not see any obvious points of adjustment for the motor speed, but again, with those pitch sliders on there, you're going to have the ability to adjust that speed up top. Here is the foot. It's a spongy foot. I think that's a spring-loaded rubber foot, which is excellent. 4 feet, 4 points of contact. That is probably not the motor, actually. No, that's okay. So that's the main bearing. I thought that might be for the motor itself, but the motor's elsewhere. So anyway, not a whole lot to see here, but I thought I would point it out. There is the bottom. Power cord is permanently attached. However, the RCA cables are removable, so that's a good thing. Okay, let's look at the tone arm and the cartridge. So first of all, there's no VTA adjustment. The VTA is statically positioned, which is okay. It's not a huge deal breaker. We do have an anti-skate control, a tone arm lift. I did notice that the descend is nice and gradual, so there's still some fluid in that piston there for the lift shelf. Counterbalance is metal, and if I rotate this around here, you will see that it is indeed a real one. It is indeed adjustable. It's kind of odd that it is doing this. Maybe the whole thing needs a screw on there tighter, like the spin. Okay, yeah, so this just needed a screw in. Now it's tight again. The reason why I bring that up is it's usually a single piece from here to the front part of the tone arm is the same piece of metal. In this case, the gimbal itself, it's a separate piece for this part of the tone arm versus this, and the gimbal itself is in between. So anyway, the gimbal seems pretty tight, not a lot of movement in there. Now that that's screwed in tight, again, no big deal on this. You gotta allow for little things like that. These things are quite old and they need some love. We do have another spot right there to put another cartridge, which is good to have. The reject switch is right here. And let's look at the cartridge and the head shell itself up close. Okay, the head shell is removable, so that's a very good sign. That will allow us to look at this easier. It has a nice metal head shell assembly, which is good. This is the Darling M22. It's a vintage phono cartridge. You can still get new styli for it. This yellow one does have a good stylus tip, however, where the stylus housing, the yellow part, attaches to the cartridge itself, looked a little janky, like a piece might have broken off. It did fit back in okay, but I think during shipping that it kind of wiggled loose. So I am going to give it a shot, but if it doesn't work, we'll just slap on another cartridge. Let's go ahead and see what is under the hood, as it were. And I'm going to lift this up, set this aside. Okay. Interesting, we got the inspection stickers, serial number again. And here is our belt. And doesn't look like there's much lubrication left there on that return mechanism. It is semi-automatic, so it's got the auto return. We do have a voltage selector switch there in red. And again, the strange nylon motor mount. I guess why not? If it'll last, and it has lasted so far, then why not? So let's see, the spindle here. This one does not rotate. Somebody told me the other day, like, every spindle rotates. What are you talking about? And it's just not the case. Actually, some of them don't. This one does not rotate. Look at this. There's a place where they could have mounted a motor over there. I've never seen dual punch outs. Again, these moldings can be used for multiple products or multiple versions. That's kind of an interesting one though, because look how much higher it's up here on this kind of sub plinth area, and this one's a lot lower. So I don't know how they would do that. Maybe with a taller platter, something to be aware of there. But interesting. Not much else to see here. I was thinking maybe there'd be some access to the motor in terms of speed control. Maybe right there. I don't see. There may be trim pots in there. I'm not 100% sure. It would be unlikely though, because I'm sure the trim pots would be directly on the bottom of the motor versus, you know, on a board separately, especially with a 2-speed turntable. But it is possible. Okay, let's look at the bottom of the platter. It is plastic. It's got the gears here. You can see some of the remnants of the grease, and obviously this, you know, helps control the return mechanism. It's actually driven by the platter based on the motor driving the platter itself. And the platter, plastic, sub platter where the belt goes, dual knockouts for the belt access for weight distribution. And I have already lost it. Oh, here it is. The belt itself. So I'm going to put this back together. I'm going to clean it as well. Maybe add some oil and we'll go from there. Okay, it definitely looks better. I used the groove goo to get in all the little nooks and crannies under the platter. And then I use Windex wipes to clean all of the outside stuff. I used to use Clorox wipes, and no, there's no bleach in Clorox wipes, no problem there. Windex is a bit gentler, but it doesn't leave a residue. And the thing with the Clorox wipe is it leaves a sticky residue a lot of times. So I've found that it works better just to go with the Windex wipes. Plus, you can use Windex on rubber. So if you've got like a belt that needs cleaning or an idler wheel or something like that, Windex is good for that. I've got the belt on, and it should be in working order. It'd help if I put the head shell on. And okay, I just want to do a basic functionality test. So I'm plugging it in. I'm sure that it's in a weird position, so it'll probably have to go through a cycle. But let's just kind of see. I'm going to unfasten that, put the lift up so if it wants to drop, it doesn't hit the rubber. Usually when you see a start and stop switch, that is the only control for the platter on and off. Usually you don't have an arm activated switch, but this one you do. So it's on there, and you have to put the tone arm across in order to get it to spin. Now, this being a semi-automatic, you have to manually cue it, so I guess that makes sense. So the next question I have is the speed accurate? Is it getting up to speed? Is the belt slipping? And I don't see any light coming from the strobe, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and use our own strobe disc. We're going to be looking right here for 33 and right here for 45. So without further ado, let's try to get it up to speed for 33 RPM. Again, looking right here. That looks good to me. That does look good. And, you know, I still have the pitch control. So if I adjust the pitch, it goes way too fast. And if I go the other way, it goes too slow. And then I can bring it right to a perfect speed. So even though that belt is loose, it is still functioning. All right, going up to 45 in the middle there. And again, using the slider for the pitch adjust, we can lock in the speed perfectly, or nearly so. Excellent. Oh, that's happy news. I'm glad for that. Also, the 45 and the 33 just lights up depending on which speed you're in. It's kind of unnecessary because there's a switch right down here that says 33 or 45. But it's kind of cool. It doesn't seem to make a difference if you change the pitch slider. Like it doesn't it doesn't lighten up as soon as it hits the perfect spot. It's just a literal indicator. Still kind of cool. I love things that light up, so I'm good with it. But yeah, speed is good. Okay, so I did not find any information online about the intended or desired tracking force for this cartridge, so we're just going to wing it. I'll probably put 3 grams on it. That sounds like a good idea to me. It's way light. Right now only has 0.6. And there's 2. And there's 2.5. You know what? Maybe I'll put 2.5 because the gauge goes up to 3. Actually goes up to 2.5 and then it resets. 2.73 works for me. Okay, so I think that should be a fairly accurate tracking force, assuming that was the stock cartridge on here, which I think it probably was. Now the next question is, will I get any sound out of that cartridge considering the issues I had with it earlier? Okay, this is a super practical setup. Not really, just joking. I'm going to be using Vinyl Moon Volume 95. If you didn't see our recent Vinyl Moon video, check out, I think it was called 3D Record. Check that out. Some amazing records are going to be featuring on the channel soon. If you like art, if you like cool packaging, don't miss that episode. Anyway, so we'll be playing that record, testing out this cartridge, this Darling M22, to see if it's as darling as it's supposed to be. And we got the Phono preamp, and I'm using the impractical but available Studebaker boombox there as our speaker system. So let's see if we can get any audio out of here. Without further ado, this is just an ambient test to see if the cartridge is working. So here we go. And let that thing, because the belt is worn, it takes a second to come up to speed. Yeah, it works. Awesome. It looked like I had a broken piece, so I am very happy that phono cartridge works. Awesome. I love it. Okay, cool. And while we're at it, let's make sure that auto return works as well. So the auto return does not seem to return. So perhaps the threshold isn't set properly. Yeah, okay, so it does reject, it does come back, but it wants to do it kind of in the middle of the label. So that would need to be calibrated. However, Houston, we've got a problem, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. This cartridge, it doesn't, now I'm doubting, maybe it wasn't stock, because check out how low this thing rides. I knew it was a tall cartridge, but look at this. It actually clears it here, but I heard it dragging near the center of the record itself. But even at this point, the rake angle on that cantilever is no bueno. You do not want it kind of leaning back like that. It should be in a much higher position, something more akin to this. So it's like going down too low. And let me show you what I mean by that inner groove position. You can see that it's just about bottoming out there. So that is not ideal. That's not ideal at all. So I made the executive decision to put on the Ortophone. It was just dragging too much. It was dragging all over the place, and I want to get a read for what this thing will actually sound like as a complete system. So while I was doing that and recalibrating the tracking force, I noticed on the anti-skate that there's an emphasis line between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So that tells me that this was definitely 3 grams or less. So we could have been in the right ballpark, but I had a thought, what if we were just trying to track, with too much weight on that phono cartridge? That could possibly, kind of put the cantilever where it was. So that's a thought. Maybe it was supposed to track more like 1.5 grams. It's a possibility, but regardless, we're going forward with the Ortophone, and we know that works. It's a known value, and this time I mean it. The next thing you hear will be the direct feed.
I don't care. Hey girl, beautiful, can you dance? I hold my tongue between my teeth, but it's all coming to the surface. Hey, what's underneath? Don't lie to me. Won't forget today. Feel like yesterday. Before we met, that I met her at the bar, and we
I still
All right, my friends, that was cool. And you know what? That's indicative of an example of a good vintage unit that you can pick up for an affordable price if you keep your eyes peeled. In my case, I didn't need anything really. I put on another cartridge that I had available, but I did not spend a cent, and I was able to get it working. Now, I would recommend upgrading the belt so that it's tighter. It'll function a little bit better that way. And then the cartridge, does need a permanent replacement. But again, those are low cost things to do for less than, 20, 30 bucks. I think you could get this thing on the road. So definitely a great little turntable. As you could hear for yourself, it sounded great. It functioned well. It did everything it should. It's a great example of a vintage unit, an affordable entry-level vintage unit. And a lot of people like to go the vintage route, and I'm all for that. So if that's your cup of tea, maybe keep an eye out for this one. I personally have never seen this one before out in the wild, as it were, but I'm sure there's more out there. I could see them online when I was doing a bit of research. My friends, that's going to do it for today. If you have not picked up your glow-in-the-dark 45 adapter, consider this your final warning because it's going away very soon, imminently in the next few days, and it will be replaced at some point in time with another exclusive color. Obviously, our signature orange will be there and available at all times. Plus, we've got cool merch on our merch shelf. We've got other ways you can support the channel. I want to say a huge thank you to those that joined our recent live. 2 people gave super chats, and I'm very grateful for that. Again, that goes right back into supporting the channel, bringing you exclusive and exciting content. Speaking of exclusive and exciting content, I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, give me a thumbs up. That doesn't cost anything, and it really, really helps us out. Tell your friends. Definitely subscribe if you haven't done so already. You don't want to miss those notifications, assuming YouTube does them right, where we go live and we give away turntables and records, which we do pretty frequently. You don't want to miss that. But my friends, that's going to do it for today. So happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.